Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
This season of Negative Camber the Motorsport Show is proudly brought to you by True Steel Frames, Move Yourself Trailer Hire, Red Mill Bakery, Pro Karts Race Centre Paraka, Barbarino, TD Racing, T4, Patrizzi Course, IKD, DR Karts Australia and Radio Italia Uno. Welcome to Negative Camber the Motorsport Show. How are you, Lee? Doing well?
Great. How are you, Jamie?
Doing well, doing very well. We are in the presence of a very special guest. Would this be your first official interview, Miss
Yes.
Flack? It is. Wow, there you go. We feel very, very privileged. Meet the Flacks, everyone. So we've got Tasha, we've got Lana, and we've got Adrian Flack. And the triplets in the background in the photos over there as well. So
It's less busy.
it is an absolute privilege to have all three of you actually on the show. But I guess what brings you here is your amazing result that you had in the AKC recently. So I guess before we delve into that, what got you into motorsport and what was it that really appealed to you? And, you know, I suppose prior to that, Adrian as well, like, you know, what got you into motorsport?
I when I was about 18 years of age, we used to sort of be into the motorbikes, doing motocross and all those sorts of things with the family. And, you know, as you do with motorbikes, you tend to get hurt. So after a few injuries with everybody, we decided that maybe go-karting was a better option. So we sort of got into that. And basically I remember from when I was younger, it was just really good family time. You know, we're all competing against each other, but it's also, you know, working together to try and become better and achieve, you know, winning races and all those sorts of things, which is really fun. And then as we've continued on, sort of went down the motorsport path with racing cars and that sort of thing as well. So once I've got to that stage, I've always maintained go-karting as well. It's just such a good base to come from. It's good for your fitness and your reflexes and everything else. And then I guess once Tasha and I had children, they're obviously looking at Dad doing go-karting going, well, when can I get in one? So I think somewhere along the way, that's where Lana's sort of jumped into one and thought, I'll go out and beat my dad. So still working on that. We'll see how we go.
And what about you, Lana? Was that you drew inspiration from your dad, or was there something inside of you that just it was what you wanted to do?
I started by watching my dad when I was younger, and Marcus would always talk about it as well. He raced as well, and I guess I just wanted to try go-karting, and I sort of fell in love with it.
Yeah.
From about age 2, we bought a little electric four-wheeler for Lana, and she was literally only just 2 years old, and she used to cut laps in the backyard just over and over and over again, and she has
until
really
the
good
batteries are flat.
until the batteries went flat, and then we'd have to recharge it. She'd be sitting there waiting to get back on it again, and then it got too slow, so we had to upgrade her to the faster electric motorbikes, and then we had to go up to the proper ATVs, like the engine-powered ATVs, fuel ones. And then she went on the two-wheeler motorbikes as well. So anything with an engine, ever since she was a toddler, she was just interested in. And she always had really good spatial awareness. So when we had the triplets and eventually they got on ones because they wanted to be like Lana, it was like Chinatown in peak hour traffic with these kids just swerving around everywhere, not knowing. And somehow Lana managed to miss every triplet every time. She never had an accident with them. She just knew where they all were and could maneuver around them quite easily in the backyard. So
You got lucky with the petrol-powered cars, Lana, because when I was at 2 years age, I had to pedal car all of my favourite little cars. I'm sure Dad would remember those days as well. And so I had little plastic cars that I would drive around with my mates, and we had a trailer hooked up on the back that I would tow my mates around in as well. But did you have any other sport goals? Like, were there any other sports you wanted to chase after, or was motor racing always the number one?
Yeah, motor racing was number one, but I also do little athletics, and I play soccer at school, and I used to do gymnastics as well.
Multi-talented. It's all good for your fitness for go-kart racing as well.
Yeah.
Especially with gymnastics, and really with soccer as well, that hand-eye coordination would also come in handy too. But the fitness component from a cardiovascular perspective would be great too, because you'd almost feel like you're cruising in the kart from a breathing perspective, and I guess a strength perspective as well. So, what have being the fact that obviously you're a girl, and traditionally motorsport has been seen as a male-dominated sport, how have you found, since you've gotten into go-karting, how have you found it mixing it with the boys, and what sort of challenges were you getting from them in the pit lane?
When I first started, I struggled because boys didn't want to get beaten by me, and they'd like crash with me and just like not let me get past. But over the years, some people have started friending me and becoming friends with me, and I've started working with people and like working with people to get better and try and catch up to other people, and yeah.
And I guess for yourself, for the both of you, in terms as parents, I mean, how challenging would that have been to try and, keep the encouragement up, not let it get downhearted, and then watching all the racing on track and just seeing it's just, like a demolition derby there in some cases as well? That must be hard.
Yeah, I think coming from obviously a sport background, I knew what to expect, and we're out there weekend after weekend after weekend, and it just never seems to end. Poor Tasha just going to karting again, and I'm like, yep, gotta go. So we're every single minute that we could, and we're doing as many laps as Lana could handle in a day, so their neck would fall off, sort of thing, or head fall off. So, and then we get into racing, and sometimes you crash, and sometimes you don't crash, and she becoming right at the back and just basically going nowhere, But I just know that, it's basically 1,000 laps, or whatever you want to say is what it takes to actually become good. So you just got to keep working on it, keep racing. You have your crashes, and then you get out there and just have another crack. So as she's gone, eventually she was near the front, and everyone's sort of starting to go, hang on, what's this girl doing here? The little boys, it's not natural for them to see girls competing with them, especially in go-karting. So, but it's funny to see now. Everyone expects her to be there, so they give her the utmost respect. Even when you see them on the track, they don't hit her the way they used to. Like they'll just play real as clean as it. They can be a little bit dirty, but they know that she'll give it straight back, which is good to see. So she's got the respect of all the other drivers, and they know that next week she's going to be right there again. So if they serve it up to her, well, she'll give it straight back. So it's sort of in their interest just to sort of race a little bit more fair, which is good.
But it was really frustrating. Her first race off her Ps, she was coming second pretty much every round. And as I said, first race off your Ps, we were not Cadet 9, and we were not expecting her to do as well as what she had done. And then she just got taken out by somebody who was told not to get beaten by a girl. She was the only girl on the track, so then I think she came through fifth or seventh or something like that, because she got slammed right off the track and used as brakes. And that happened a lot. Pretty much every time she got to the front, somebody would just use her as brakes around the corner close to the end of the race, and she'd get taken out. And it was really frustrating and really heartbreaking that she never got that opportunity. So Adrian was working with her on how to sort of watch and be aware that that was likely going to be a tactic, and things that she could do to sort of like defend herself from that or maneuver around it, so she didn't actually get taken out. So yeah, they had to work hard because of that. And then we had issues in other races where, you know, she'd pass somebody clean, and like one particular kid came in off at the end of the race, turned his camera off, and then proceeded to walk up to her go-kart, kick the go-kart, calling her every name under the sun.
Wow.
Yeah. So
It's not
she
very
didn't do
sportsmanlike.
anything wrong other than pass him. So we've had issues where things haven't gone all that well, and boys weren't very happy with her getting past. But as Adrian said, she's just consistently just got better and better and been up the front so much more now. And then a couple of the boys, did you want to tell them about the boys that you made friends with and how it paved the way for you a little bit? Once you got their respect and their friendship, and they put up with the other boys picking on them for talking to a girl, then suddenly, you know, she made a couple of friends, and then they would work with her, and then the other boys started to talk to her then too. So instead of sitting on her own between races or practices, none of the other kids would talk to her, and now everyone talks to her.
Yeah, it was really enjoyable at that last round in Newcastle. What's the two kids' names? You guys are the top three in the championship.
Oh, Connor Mayer was one who was with me, but there was Jackson Bradshaw and Corey Carson.
Yeah, so they're sitting there, and I actually took some video and some photos. So it's so cute, like a little pig with their helmets, but they're just sitting there chatting away, and they're like, oh, let's get a photo with the top three in the championship, you know, and they're just sort of celebrating how well they're all going, you know, throughout the year so far. And that was so good to see. Like that's what sport's about in my view, you know.
Yeah,
Make it
absolutely.
Yeah, just taking in the good bits where you could, and yeah, so that was quite a fun weekend.
I guarantee they still don't like being beaten by Lana, but they've learned to come and be used to it now. But what sort of advice has Dad given you along the way to help you dealing with the passing manoeuvres that some of the other drivers have been putting on you, and how has Dad helped you develop as a race driver?
Don't give away too many secrets.
I'm trying to ask for myself here now. I'm trying to learn from the best as well, you know.
Break later. That's a good start.
No, when I was younger, I used to get angry in my helmet and then I'd lose it. But Dad's taught me to like stay calm and talk to myself in my helmet and just drive smooth because sliding's slow. So he's just given me little tips to help with the crazy passes. And
staying calm.
Yeah. Because if you get angry, you lose your temper. So,
Try being Italian. It's very hard. It's very hard. But that's amazing. Like to learn that sort of skill now and then to implement that, but also resilience. I mean, to go through all, let's call it bullying. Let's put it out there. You know, to go through that sort of stuff, you know, as a young kid, regardless of the gender, but especially because of the fact that it was so obvious. I mean, for yourself, Lana, were there times when you just wanted to, you know, just sort of pull into the pits and say, you know what, Mum, Dad, I'm done? Or, you know, did you have that never give up attitude and you know, that
Yeah, I did want to quit go-karting a few times. I wanted to quit mainly when I was getting bullied a lot, but now that I've got some friends that stick up for me, I enjoy go-karting much more.
Yeah, fair enough. Hey,
Yeah.
let's talk about your team or the team that you're part of, which is Energy. How did that relationship come about, and and what do you like about the team?
My uncle owns it,
Yep.
and I guess it's just I like the kart, how all of it handles, and it's got lots of little kids that like join in, but I guess I don't know. It's just a really good kart, and Kian's there, and we've got some people in the tent that help if we need it, because I've got me, my sisters, and all of them. So sometimes we can't carry all the wet tires if we sometimes need them, but it's a really great kart to drive, and it's quite easy to learn, I reckon, because when I was young, I used to have like different karts, but then I just went to this one and I just adapted to it very well, and I love it.
Yeah, and I mean, your parents, I guess, will put it out there. We'll call it Team Flack. So you're Lana, Team Flack are behind you. So I mean, that relationship, and obviously you get that support from the AKC level as well. Like, do you find that everyone's like sort of sharing data, or does it work independently, but you're all in the one marquee? How does that all work?
So we have the cadets and the juniors and the seniors, and we compare like the data from like the faster people, and we look at our video footage, and we get like tips, and they just like see where you're losing speed and where you're faster, and
How to improve.
how to improve your driving style. But it's pretty cool.
And
They do a lot.
Dad's busy looking after you and giving you lots of driving tips. Do you take the tips and then share them with your sisters, your triplet sisters as well, and help them get faster?
Not all the times.
I love it. Honestly, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you all, like, there's 4 go-karts sometimes at the one weekend, and you're trying to balance all that out. And how do you guys make it work? I can't fathom it.
It's just a lot of hard work. So, there's during the week before you even go racing that, down the shed, Tasha's there helping me as well. Just checking the cars, preparing things, repairing things, and a lot of it's the pre-work before you even go there. So it's very full on when all 4 of them are racing, especially being that realistically I'm the one that wants to be racing, but somehow they broke me into working on their carts. I don't know what happened there. Got scammed. I think so. But no, it's fun out, but it is fun, and it's good fun to watch them develop. Like I was actually talking to a guy today on the phone, and his daughter's just started as well, and they're out at Ipswich. They're probably 20 seconds a lap slower than what Lana's doing. And I just said to him, mate, we're in exactly the same position a couple of years ago. You've got to keep going and just keep putting in the effort, and eventually, suddenly they're a lot quicker, and you start to enjoy it a bit more, and everyone's high-fiving you. It becomes quite fun. So it's just something you've got to keep chipping away at. But yeah, it's good fun. It's worth it when you see, like when you get a result, especially like what Lana did at Newcastle. That's a payday for all that hard work that we've been putting in. So now it's eyes forward and focus on the next 2 rounds and try and hopefully come home with that number 1 play at the end of the year, and then it'll all be worth it hopefully that stage. So we'll just keep pushing for that. Yeah.
Hey, tell us a bit about Newcastle. I mean, obviously we know the end result, and that was an amazing achievement. Was it first time in 20 odd years, I think, that there was a female that won, the final of that particular of an AKC race? But there's obviously a background to over the weekend that led to that point. So can you talk us through it?
From a setup?
From a race? Oh, yeah. Race, from the actual race weekend itself.
Lana's point of view. Go, Lana.
Well, I guess I didn't do great in quali, but race 1, race 2, I just filled it up from all my mistakes, and I had one really bad run, but that's past. I'm not going to do that again for another few years, hopefully. That was my first bad run from 2 years. So, but yeah, at the end of the day, it all comes down to your feedback, your kart setup, and how you drive. But I tried and I gave it my best effort, and we came back with a good result.
How were the nerves in the final? Like, did you have a pretty easy race, or were you having to defend a lot and battle a lot of other drivers? And you know, with a couple of laps to go, did your heart start racing even faster because you were on the verge of winning a round of the Australian title?
Is it the first 3 or 4 ones that I was with all the other guys, and then I just pulled away?
The final.
Yeah. How many laps was it?
16.
No. It was about like 4
or something
5
at the front, I think.
4 or 5 laps that we were
Yeah,
tussling.
you broke away at about
Yeah.
6.
Yeah, around lap 6, I broke away from the field and just pulled away, and then the people behind would push and try and catch up, and then eventually they'd just give up and they'd start tussling, and then that would give me a bigger gap. And then the last lap, Connor caught me, and we were like, he was very close in the last corner to getting me. It was really scary, and I was nervous for the last corner, but I guess I managed to hold it and come first, but it was very, very tough.
I'd love to say to his dad. He in the grid at the end, his dad said, he's always taught him to race clean. You know, you don't go and take somebody out in the last corner and risk losing a position yourself and taking their position. If you're not in, you do not wipe out somebody just to get a position. And we were like, oh, thank you. That's just he could have just slammed into her, taken her out and gone through first, but he wasn't quite there, and he decided not to risk, you know, a not very clean moves.
He was there, but
Yeah.
I guess he just didn't want to like swipe me or anything like that, or do anything. So he was just careful, and he came home second.
It was fair racing.
Yeah.
He knows now that he hasn't done that, when you are racing against him next time, and if you're the person in second, you're less likely now to have a bit of a dive on him and feed him back.
Yeah.
So fair racing promotes fair racing. That's what I always say.
Great.
Yeah, it's one of the few times in racing, like she had a really great lead for the majority, and then the last few laps they started to catch her, and they'd stop fighting with each other and actually started working with each other and wind slipping and pushing each other along to bridge the gap. And I'm just like, now they just work together. Out of all the times they work together now,
But
and they ended up catching up to her.
the last half of the race, the cart went off, but I managed to hold it. So I'm happy with the cart setup.
You know how refreshing it is
good.
to hear
I'm
that.
glad
Good job, Dad. You know how refreshing though it is to hear that, and I know when we spoke off air like last week, that both of obviously the little person that finished second and obviously yourselves are advocates for clean racing, and we've been for what? How long, Lee? Maybe since the history since the beginning of the show. We've been so critical of some of the driving standards that occur throughout all levels of the AKC, but karting nationally, because it's this whole, you know, who wins the competition for the most tire marks down the side pods, you know, rather than actually executing a clean overtaking move. Because have a guess what? You can't do that in the seniors when you go up the motorsport ranks, because there are more dire consequences that occur if you do muck that up, both from a cost perspective, but also a livelihood. So to hear that, you know, two sets of parents are actually encouraging clean racing fair, hard, but clean, is, oh my God, there's hope. There's hope.
There's a few out there.
Yeah, there are a couple of I don't know if they're necessarily, so more sporting type parents, which have obviously competed previously, whether it be in motorsport or other sports. And I think they understand it a bit better, like you can race like you're trying to kill each other, but there's a way to do it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you give it your best and walk away and have a handshake and, you go and drink a Coke together or whatever people do, So that's the way sport should be played, But funnily enough, after that weekend, I was talking to a couple of race teams and it's funny how they sort of start to scout in go-karts for, just looking at drivers as they go as to who could be potentials for the future. So I give them about 7 names out of the weekend, people that I think they should watch, and they're very much similar to, I think it's Connor style of racing, and he was one of them. Just real good racing, nice kids as well, like their personalities in the pits, they're actually good little people. All those things to me are important, and if you're going to go down that road in the future, it's not just about how well can you steer a wheel and what position did you come, it's the whole process and everything else along the way. So, I don't think people think about that at all. They're very short-sighted in the way they attack it sometimes.
Yeah. Well, speaking of race teams as well, like obviously you've got the family ties to Energy, and a lot of people probably know that, but seeing Lana's success, are there other teams out there that are, and you don't have to name names, but have you been approached by other teams to try and pry you away from the family-owned Energy team?
Yeah, for sure. And you always end up with a nice laugh, and I always refer to Christmas, Christmas dinner, and whether I'm going to be joining them for Christmas dinner with my family or whether we'll be still with ours. So it's always a bit of a laugh, but I don't think we'll be jumping ship to any other team anytime soon. So it's all good. But it is quite funny when they do talk to you about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, racing heroes, who's inspired you? I mean, Dad's side, I won't include him, but, who inspires you from a motorsport perspective, or do you draw inspiration from, say, other sports stars and different sporting codes like soccer or tennis or something like that as well?
I'm definitely inspired by Dad.
You'll make him blush.
That's a good answer.
My cousin Marcus, F1 drivers. I always sit there with Dad and watch the F1 drivers, and it's a different car and really fast. But I'm also inspired by Jamie Whincup, Van Gisbergen, and a lot of other people. Too many to name. I don't really have one. I like a lot of them.
Yeah.
You told us it was Ferrari last week.
Yeah. Favorite teams are probably Mercedes or Ferrari, but
good choices. I like it. I like it very much. Last week,
red ones go faster.
Hey,
red ones go faster.
Yeah. Well, we try. We try. We don't always get it right.
Yes.
So, yeah. So you're not on the Max Verstappen train. Yeah, sort of more Lewis Hamilton or George Russell or someone like that.
Yeah.
She loves Lewis Hamilton.
You always comment about him.
Oh yeah, George Russell as well.
Yeah.
He's really good. Came from Formula 2 to Formula 1 and is doing really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. See, Lewis. I like that. Lee's a massive Lewis fan. To give you a little bit of context and a bit of background, like just exudes nothing but praise for him. So, and if you can detect the sarcastic undertones and all that, then that's good. We're winning.
You're doing well.
I'm doing well.
Daddy loves Ferrari.
Is he?
Yeah.
Ferrari team.
Well, yeah. To add to that, so to give you a little bit of context in that remark, I currently am the president for the Ferrari Formula One fan club, which is an official F1 fan club to the Ferrari Formula One team. So I've been doing that for 3 years now, and yeah, so we have I liaise a lot with Ferrari in Maranello, so a lot of the delegates and stuff like that over there, and we do some fun activities with members interstate. So we used to pre-COVID would take people through the pit lane and meet the Ferrari F1 drivers. Lee got to experience that. What year was that when you went and you met Kimi?
Yep, good question. 2016 or 17?
Yeah. So, but then COVID kind of killed that off a little bit, and the Ferrari family overseas, we get to do factory tours and all that sort of stuff too. So, I did promise Lana, because apparently you guys might be thinking of going to Italy at the end of the year. Is that true, or is that offer still on the table, or is that off?
I just keep saying it depends on how well she does. So
yep.
She needs to win AKA, and then we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Very possible. There's been a few conversations about sort of entertaining that. So it's it could happen. We'll see how it goes throughout the year. So
yeah. Well, as I said to you off air,
and that's part of the prize.
Yes.
Eye on the prize. Get that green number 1 on the go-kart first, and then then you can worry about beating everyone else overseas too.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes the negotiations with Dad much easier if she wins it as a prize.
Well, a little bit, as I said to you off last time, there's a bit of incentive for you. So we used to do, when I say we, the Ferrari manufacturer used to offer factory tours for those that would go overseas, and they are talking about potentially doing that again. And I did say that keep me up to speed with what's going on, because I will send over my membership card and help organise a free factory tour if they've opened it up. But if you are in Maranello at that time, then you can use it to do a tour of all the museums, and then you can get yourself some merchandise and get like 20 or 30% off the merchandise as well. So it's on record now, so it's official. And then all the Spotify listeners are going to listen to it as well. And I promise you, you'll do it. So obviously fulfill your end of the bargain, go to Italy, and then I'll do my bit too. So, and that's a promise. All right.
Do we need to dress her up like you to get her through the doors?
Well, it's funny, this is the team cap, but I've actually gone retro 2007 HRT. So, that's but yeah, it's just too cold in Adelaide at the moment. So I'm freezing. So I need my winter warmers. So what next? So you've obviously got what rounds coming up for AKC, because you're going to make your way over there too, aren't you, Lee?
No. So Ipswich is next weekend or the weekend after.
Yep.
Mustn't be next weekend, because that's the weekend that Adrian's got Townsville. So it must be the weekend after Townsville.
14th to 16th July, I think it is.
Yeah.
So
we're off to Townsville this weekend for the state titles for Queensland.
Yep.
And then next week is the AKC round for Lana's next round. Yep. Oh, sorry, 2 weeks. Yeah.
2 weeks after that.
Yep.
Yeah. And they've already hit the 400 mark in terms of entry.
yeah.
It's
Wow.
good. Yeah.
Cadet 12s are always oversubscribed. I think South Australia, which was round 1, didn't they have like 70-something entrants in Cadet 12s?
Yeah, 74 or 76 or something they had in Cadet 12 in Monado here, so it was crazy for you guys.
Yeah, not to give away any tips, but we're going to run wet weather tyres to get rid of some of the grip.
You've heard it here first, all the other Cadet 12 list drivers, run your wets, get rid of the grip.
Yeah.
In qualifying, brand new set of wets.
Especially qualifying.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you've all been around the racing scene for a little while, and I've been in the sport now for, in terms of karting, 5-6 years, I reckon, top of my head. I've never seen numbers or entrants like in terms of 370. Then it went to 390, and then it's over 400 in the history of the AKC in my time. What do you guys? What does everyone put it down to as to what's contributing to this massive influx and huge entries across all the classes, not really in the juniors?
Sadly, I think the biggest reason for it is, like, since COVID, I think a lot of people used to travel a lot more and go overseas and do a lot more motorsport and those sorts of things. And now since COVID, I think people are staying home a lot more, and their interest is a little bit more localized now. So they're their children are particularly starting to get into go-karting. Like you look at Cadet 12s, every race meeting, I know at Ipswich is full capacity. You know, you look at the AKC, it's 60 to 70 entrants in Cadet 12. So, that's children obviously have that interest in karting, and parents are, well, let's just, get into it and do it here. So I think that's probably the main driver for people getting into karting and racing and that sort of stuff more locally at the moment. So that's I think the main driver for it.
I wish we were getting those numbers down here, that's for sure. But yeah, what are your thoughts, Lana? Is it just because it's so fun and you meet lots of great friends?
Yeah, it's just another hobby, and I guess I can be better than my dad when I get out.
But why are other kids joining go-karting? Have you spoken to any of the other kids about that before?
There's a lot of girls now, isn't it, starting to get into it too?
Some girls have come to watch and come to speak to my dad, and but they have come to speak to you. There was one couple months ago where the family came over with some girls looking at going, and you were talking about it, and then I came over.
It's actually pretty interesting at the amount of like little girls and even bigger ones that are really keen after watching Lana race. And it's funny, I've never seen or heard as many people on the fence. Like I stand out in the middle of most of the time of the races and just hear them yelling for Lana. And you're like, far out. It's like, it seems like hundreds of them in our time. Wow. And they keep coming up, we come just to watch you, Lana. So it's really interesting, the following that she's actually got. It just continues to grow and grow and grow.
Yeah.
There was this little girl who moved to America, but she was always there, and I was always cheering her on when she was on her P plates. But she looks up to me and is always like, how do you do this? Do you care if I ask you lots of questions? I'm like, I don't mind. And she's in America now. So
actually, her mum just got on Facebook after Lana won the Newcastle round.
Yep.
And initially the kids, because they'd only just met Lana a couple of times, they approached her and said, we saw you race, we really love you racing. And they, as I said, they were asking her lots of questions. But when they left, they asked Lana and all her sisters to sign their papers so they could say, these are our friends in Australia that we met. And then when Lana won Newcastle, the mum sent me a message. She goes, I knew that signature would be worth something soon. That was funny. But every time the girls, they take anyone under their wing. I think, I'm not sure if it's just a girl thing, but any new little kids that come on board, they'll try and help them out or be nice to them and encourage them to keep going and, try and get a little bit faster and whatnot. But particularly if there's any girls there, if they see one of the boys there practicing and the sisters are waiting in the trailer, the girls will be like, you should get in the go-kart. Come and get in the go-kart, and try and get them involved as well. So I think there's been a few little girls that have gone, okay, I can do this. And they see our girls there. And I think it's less daunting if there's a few girls there for others to become involved, as opposed to being the lone girl, like little 9-year-old or something, or a 7-year-old, the lone 7-year-old girl in a bunch of 40. So, just makes it more comfortable for them.
Yeah.
And when all these other...
we have the Yendels, and Aubrey looked up to me, and then now she started go-karting. And she's excited. She's like, one day I want to be you. And she's never talking about it.
Her brother races and is really, really good as well. But, she just loves Lana. Apparently she wants the same helmet as Lana, the same sticker kit as Lana. So...
It's good that you can be this sort of role model for other young ladies trying to get into the sport as well. But for all the listeners that maybe haven't even gone out to the track, maybe they are the brother or sister of someone that races, what advice would you give them? Why is karting so great and why should they do it?
It's just a different type of sport, and I guess it may come handy one day, like when you get a driver's license, because you'll know how to like be aware of stuff. But it's way different to like playing soccer and like doing gymnastics. It's more you need more awareness, and I reckon if you got into a go-kart, you'd fall in love with it.
What do you love most about karting?
Beating the boys.
That's awesome.
I thought you were going to hang out with your dad then.
That comes a close second.
Yeah, second place. First was.
I'm talking about on track.
Not
Hey,
much.
tell us about this. Tell us about this little competition that you've got between you and your dad. I can't remember what it was. What's the little bet that you've got?
Which one? She
Yeah,
has it with a number of deals going on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know which one.
there was one you were telling us about last week, but tell us all of the deals that you've got going on with your dad.
Painted helmet one initially.
Was it the painted helmet one?
No, but that sounds interesting. I
That
think there
sounds
was
good.
one about you're going to beat dad one day and maybe you get the Porsche or something.
No. If I win the AKC, I want to like get a Formula Ford or something like that and race dad, like me in a Formula Ford versus him in the Porsche, and see who's like faster, and then maybe we can switch. Or maybe I can get a Porsche and race him and beat him.
You do realise that I'll wind the screw on the throttle so you don't get full speed, hey? Whatever it takes.
I'll do it
You're
back
right.
to yours.
That'll suck even more when you do beat him, won't it, Lana?
I don't know anything about it.
But it's the deal that you get a Formula 4 if you win AKC this year. Is that it?
I would want one.
Even though you're too young to get one.
Still a couple of years. What's the painted helmet deal? So what have you got to do to get yourself a fully custom helmet paint job?
So if I won a race
Last year.
No, this year.
No, this is last year's deal.
No, I did this year.
Tell them the original one.
So if I win not the whole AKC round, just like one weekend, I get a painted helmet, a new painted helmet.
It was one race, wasn't it?
No.
Yeah.
Last year, Lana.
Oh, yeah, last
Tell them the
year.
story about last year
That's
before you got any painted helmet. So
Remember
what
you
happened
won
last
your
year?
first race? So in Cadet 12, she still hadn't won a race.
Not the full weekend.
Not a club
Just
day
a
race.
race.
A race. And just kept going. Tasha's going, she's never going to win. I'm going, just got to keep trying. It'll happen. And then sure enough, she was racing at Bolivar in the AKC round. And you won your first race.
First
It was
heat.
actually the AKC. It was a
Yeah.
heat race. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Did you want a
That's
heat?
it.
And I was always
track.
at Ipswich, and I was just going, when will I win one of them trophies? And I've just started winning.
You end up
Them
third,
now.
didn't you?
So
But I remember the first thing that came out of your mouth. I get a painted helmet now, Dad. What are you talking about?
When I got sponsored by Revolution Race Gear, I forgot totally about the painted helmet thing, and then I got a free helmet, and I'm like, oh, guess what? Now you need to get me a painted helmet because I won one of the races. Oh man,
so last year she won a heat in Bolivar, and that was something
I
that
came third overall.
overall, yeah. But first of all, it was if you win a heat in AKC, you get a painted helmet. So she went and did that. And then then Adrian changed it. The fence post moved a little bit, and it was, you've got to get on podium in AKC. So she went out and got third in Bolivar and went, Dad, where's my painted helmet? Where's my painted helmet? She's so And then after that, it was, no, you need to get a first place trophy somewhere. So then she's come out and she's pulled the first place trophy out at Ipswich. Then she's going, Dad, where's my painted helmet? I really want my painted helmet.
It was torturing me.
And then thankfully, Custom Corner decided to sponsor her a painted helmet. And so she got this beautiful design with the tiger on the back of it, you know, karate kicking the people behind her. It looks amazing. It glows in the dark. And it was just before Christmas. And then Adrian's gone to give it to her and then goes, now you've got to wait for Christmas. So this helmet just dragged for ages. And now that she's been sponsored by Revolution and Bell, they've just given her another helmet. And she's
Dad doesn't have to
negotiating.
pay for anything.
And now she's
You've got to win the
negotiating.
AKC if you want to get a payment.
I just did.
So,
That's all good.
so
Now you know
yeah.
why she wants to beat you so bad, Adrian.
Hey,
Now you know why she wants to beat you so badly. Oh, wow. So,
That little determined look on her face, and you can see it. She's had that look ever since she was a baby.
Yeah.
Yep.
Once she wants something, and if we see it in her helmet, we just go, ooh.
Oh, dear.
She wants this race. She's determined to get it. So she just gets that serious look on her face and in her eyes.
yeah.
I got like a migraine one time. It was last year, and I felt dizzy and I fainted in the bathroom.
Before.
Yeah, in the morning, and then I started throwing up. But then I was like feeling better because it relieves the pain in your head. And Mum's going, "You're not go-karting," and I'm like, "Why?" And I'm like, "Can we call Dad and see what he says?" And Dad goes, "If she's feeling up to
I
it."
was ready to step in and race for you. I was going to do it.
You were
Good luck.
in the Porsche somewhere else. That was
suit
Newcastle.
ready.
Yeah,
You're
and
in the Porsche elsewhere.
yeah, and Dad said if I'm feeling well enough, then I can. And I ended up racing, but I was really determined that I wanted to keep going because it was a shakedown and I wanted to do well in the AKC. So
She's tough.
Very tough, very tough. And I think that, like, I know from my own personal experience, I wish one of the kids would love to get into go-kart racing because it builds so much strength and resilience. And I think what you said is perfect before, Lana, that it does make you so much better on the roads when you do finally get your license as well.
yeah.
Lee, you'd have to sacrifice your own racing.
That's fine. I'm done.
Well, that's a lie.
No, if one of the girls wanted to take up racing, I would be on the tools, mechanic, no problems at all. I've had my racing days and I'm very, very happy with what I've achieved and what I've done, and I'd be happy to put all of that into one of the girls if they decided.
When we first got the triplets racing, we went to Gladstone and Bundaberg, and this was just when they first started out type thing. And Adrian decided that he thought we'd be able to race as well as the 4 girls in Gladstone. So he missed all his practices, barely made qualify, and then would you qualify first or something?
I qualified second
Second, okay.
with no practice.
With no
Yeah.
practice track at all, because all we did is run after the girls and they go, "Are you going out? Are you going out?" It's like, no, because 2 of the triplets crashed into each other and took each other out, and everyone was worried that the triplets would be like this force to be reckoned with that would take out everybody else and work together. No, they just all crashed
Hit
together.
each other.
Yeah. And then he went out there and he ended up winning the weekend, but almost killed him. Like by the time he was
That's how it worked.
trying to,
That was actually a really good trip.
yeah.
We just packed up the trailer and the Ram or whatever we had, and just ventured up from Brisbane up to Gladstone. We went, via Bundaberg, and it was just karting and more karting and more karting. It was actually really, really cool. And you get to run both directions on some of the tracks, and because we had the track to ourselves when we were practicing, just during the week and things like that. It was a really good trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
Hey, Lana, what do you want to do with motorsport? So, like, obviously you've got karting, but where do you want to head after that? What's the goal?
F1's my dream, but my plan B is Carrera Cup, Porsche, and beat him.
You're
It's a very common theme. We keep coming back to this, beating you, Adrian.
Give her the
That's
helmet,
a
Adrian. Save
massive
yourself
goal.
misery.
I'll run the Gen 2K, you can have Gen 1.
No, no.
Give her
So
one with a H pattern or something, like make her learn the hard way.
I'll go straight up the inside and I'll stare him in the eyes and just wave to him, and then he won't see me again. I'll be too far in
What
front.
would be really cool is if at some stage I was racing, Marcus was racing, and you were racing in Cup car as well in the same race.
And before my sister do it as well.
Oh, God.
And 1, 2, 3.
I don't know about that. So there we go. But that'd be cool. Sorry.
Lana wants to beat Marcus as well.
So I think she wants to beat everybody by the sounds of
And
things.
I want to beat him more
So like
though.
competitive.
Yeah, she really likes to beat everybody.
Yeah. And what about if like racing isn't one of the things that ends up paying the bills? Have you got like another job or another career that you might like to look forward to that will help you pay for all your racing?
I'm the baby whisperer, so I would do like babysitting when I'm young, but like be like a nurse or a doctor in like the
Pediatric ward.
with little babies and
Not enough of them. We need them. So that's not a bad plan B. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
But her main passion is definitely a racing. That's all she
that's
ever
plan
talks about.
C. Because Porsche's plan B.
True.
So she really wants to be a Formula One driver. She wants to be like the first female, a successful Formula One driver, in with everybody else. That's her main dream.
Well, fingers crossed for you, Dale. Hopefully you've managed to pull it off because it's about time. The sport, it's really, we had this discussion with JP Drake going back a couple of episodes ago now. We probably dedicated maybe half an hour discussion on that topic, but the sport, there's no reason for F1 not to have a top-end female Formula One driver now. Like they've gone through that whole, I suppose, coming of age where they've been more comfortable talking about things like gender equality and the racial side of things and the like too. But still, there's no female on the grid. Now, obviously, you're not going to give it to any person that's on there. They've got to earn that right. But there's been plenty in the system that are more than capable of probably doing it if they were given the time and the opportunity to do it. So hopefully we're alive and around to see you do it.
Yeah. Remember when me and you were watching F1 and we were joking around saying, like, watch out, Verstappen, Lana's coming your way, and Dad was joking around and just like whenever somebody was in first, Dad's like, watch out, Lana's going to be in front of you soon, and we were laughing together.
Yeah.
So I think Dad's going to try extra hard to get you to Formula One because he doesn't want you to come and knock him off his perch.
Well,
Yeah, it's a better route. Yeah, you can keep my brag and racing. I think out of especially any girl that we've sort of seen for a long time, she's definitely putting the right steps in place and showing that she's potentially got what it takes. So we'll keep working on it every weekend and whenever we can in between, and hopefully we can put the right piece in place and end up just getting the right support along the way to set her on the right path. So.
Yeah, the determination definitely seems there, and she's got the racecraft to do so. But as the gravity of what you achieved a couple of weekends ago, Lana, sunk in, like to be the first lady to win a round of the Australian Championship, have you come to terms with how big that is for the sport of karting in Australia? Or is it just another race win for you?
And isn't that right?
Just another race win?
no, it's more challenging in the AKC because you got people coming from different states, and when it's like the club day, you've just got like all the locals, but it's pretty tough. But
What about being the first female in 26 years? That's what they're asking you.
Yeah, how does that make you feel? Like, has that sunk in, how big that is?
it's pretty exciting, but
you've done it now. It's on to the next one.
Yep.
I'm just kind of wondering, if you don't mind, I'll just ask you. Because you're so focused on you're just like all the other. I think she sort of sees herself as like one of the boys in a respect. And she's not saying, I'm a girl beating the boys as such. It's just, I want to win the race type thing. And the goal is, you don't celebrate until you've gone over the finish line. And her main focus at the moment is the AKC series. So it's a round, and it was an almighty accomplishment, and it's her first place in an AKC. But to her, I think she's trying to keep her head screwed on so that way she can get the goal at the end, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep the focus on.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Go.
It doesn't matter if I don't win. Our main focus is top 3, every race, top 3, because then you're getting points for the championship. We're just trying to win the championship this year. So it doesn't matter if you don't win. It's just trying to at least stay on track and be up the top to get points for it. So, yeah.
You know what, though? I think your growth in terms of where you see yourself amongst your peers now is at that level where, you're not worried about, what gender or what it's all about. It's just, I just want to win. Or I just want to finish in the top 3 and I want to win this championship. And that's the thing, that the key element about motorsport, but also karting as well, is that unless you actually know the person, when you see them, depending obviously on the race kit and all that sort of stuff, you wouldn't know that they're a boy or a girl or a male or a female. It is equal. When they're out on track, it comes down to talent and skill and obviously preparation and everything else behind it as well. So I think it's great. And, to be a role model to so many people at the age of, 11? Am I right? 11?
I just turned 12.
Ah, okay. Sorry, I'm a year behind. Okay, so, that's amazing. That's amazing. And that's only going to get bigger the more prolific you become and the more the results that you get and that sort of thing too. Yeah.
Yeah. Last time you spoke to me, I was 11. Now I'm 12.
That's probably why. Yeah. Oh, God.
Yeah, that was last week.
A lot's happened in that time, I can tell you. For yourself, Tasha and Adrian, what do you guys do outside of karting? What's your occupation? How do you try and balance that between what almost feels like a second full-time job?
Yeah, I actually got a gas company, AGAS National. So we supply LPG to homes in gas bottles and businesses for forklift cylinders. Also large bulk LPG network as well. So that's sort of my business that keeps me busy for the usual 12 hours a day. And then we sort of get on to go-karting in the evenings and on the weekends. So that's sort of consumes my life. Tasha's involved in the business as well. So when she's not looking after the kids and doing the school run and doing that sort of thing, she's working in the business, and then she's on the tools, working on the go-karts on the weekends as well. So it's pretty flat out. There's barely a dull moment for us. So probably do pretty long days compared to most. But it's just what we enjoy, and we wouldn't want to sit down for a rest very often, would you? So
Yep.
I used to be a psychologist and did forensic psychology for one of the major hospitals in Brisbane.
Yep.
But when Lana started to become very interested in go-karting about 2 years ago, we decided that it's probably best for me to stay home because all the travel occurs from sort of Thursday on, and I also had to juggle part-time Adrian's business, part-time the hospital, and the hospital hours coincided with when we needed to travel for all the go-karting. So we decided that would have to change. Continue to work on the business where I can flex a few hours around, and the days can be on non-travel days for go-karting. And we go from there. So it's kind of a big family affair. We all have to sort of juggle things in different ways. So,
yep.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think if I remember correctly, when we spoke previously, you really enjoy being on the tools and doing all that practical stuff. Is that something that you probably never thought possible? Not like it's from forensic psychology to doing like go-karting. It's I couldn't think of a bigger yin or yang, to be honest.
I was, very academic. And when I was younger, it was dancing and horse riding. Never anything with mechanics and tools, never interested. And then suddenly I ended up with 4 little girls. So I was thinking ballet, gymnastics, a little bit of shopping here and there, lovely little ladies type thing. And then they've all followed daddy into motorsport.
I will say for the record, it was her idea to get them into go-karting.
I don't remember that.
I was practicing and you said, why don't you get the girls a go-kart? I'd love to come karting with you. I'm like, righto.
Lana was his little mini. So she always wanted to do what daddy was doing. And she was saying how much she wanted to go-kart like daddy. So,
Daddy's little girl.
Yeah, dad's little girl. But,
and then your little sisters have just followed you now too.
Yeah. And it just got to the stage where, he can't do everything on his own. Even the 2 of us, at the level that is required for AKC, even the 2 of us are often not enough, and we need to get a third person involved to help us out. So we worked that out at the ladies' race, that pink plate ladies' race in Albury-Wodonga at the beginning of the year. We tried just the 2 of us to run all 4 girls, and we had the triplets. Lana was first all weekend, and then we had the triplets who were first, second and third for most of the heats. And then it came to the final and they declared it a wet track and we had no rubber on rims and we were trying to get all these tyres changed and we didn't even get a chance to set them up. So we had a dry setup with wet weather tyres on for the triplets, and they went out and it was not great, to say the least. They were spinning off everywhere and it was a bit of a kerfuffle, and after that Abe and I had a meeting and we need help. We can't do this because it just sacrifices. And with Lana, her goal this year was, I want to win AKC. Last year was her trial run. She'd only just gone into cadet 12s and just come off her Ps, and she wanted to do AKC. So we thought this year she developed quite well in her driving, and this year she had that actual opportunity to do that, to become successful in it.
Yeah.
So we can't go, we'll wing it and see how we go, just the 2 of us trying to span across 4 go-karts. So we needed to get help in.
Yeah, no, I commend you both, because I look after 1 kart at AKC and that's more than enough for me. So to look after 2 karts each, basically, or even 3 karts in the same class, it would only be chaos. But are you teaching Lana some of the tricks of the setup trade as well, and how to spin some of the spanners so she can assist along the way, or is it just get in and drive it and eyes forward on hitting all your apexes?
I know how to do the spanners. I sometimes driver train my sisters and do a little bit on it, but I don't try to get in the way, so I stay away usually.
What's your routine when you come after the end of a race?
Oh yeah, so I have 5 minutes to cool down, get a drink, and then I need to write in my special book. And that gives Dad feedback, and then he'd come and have a chat to me, and then he'd get onto the spanners and start working on the kart. Yeah.
She's getting good at the feedback.
That helps.
So you learn the mechanical. As she gets older, obviously it's some of the nuts and bolts are too hard to undo and do up as a little kid. But as she's growing and getting older, she'll be able to run her own kart from start to finish. I think it's important, especially if you're going to get on the racing road, to understand the mechanical side of everything that you're driving. So just gives you a better understanding of why things do certain things and what causes it. So I think the mechanics side of it's very important as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Because then to be able to articulate that as you go up the ranks, the better you are at the feedback that you're going to be able to give, the better the setup, and then ultimately the better result. So, whereas there's still drivers, even at senior levels, that can't articulate properly what they're feeling, and they're just dumping it on the engineer and hoping that the man behind the desk can fix the problem that's actually happening out on the track. So,
one of the people I used to love was Sebastian Vettel. He was well known for being the first in the door in the morning and the last one to leave. And he spends, when he's not driving, he's with the engineers and all that sort of stuff, just working on the car and how they can improve it and understand it better and those sorts of things. So I think, for Lana, that's basically the philosophy that I'm trying to pass on to her as well. Because I think it adds great value to not only as a driver, but a sports person, and understanding the engineering as well. Like you said, you know what you're feeling and why. And I know for myself and the success that I've even had in the go-karts and into cars, I can tell you what does what, because I had to learn the hard way. I had to learn how to do it myself and understand what that actually did, and then get it to a point where you can actually win and succeed. So I think there's huge value in that, and that's certainly what I'll pass on to Lana and her sisters as much as I possibly can.
And over the past couple of years, he's had to learn to communicate with the girls at their level, because he knows all the technical terms.
First male ever to be able to communicate to girls.
Yeah. And little girls.
That's a risky one, isn't it?
I was not expecting that.
I didn't say I can understand them. I can just communicate.
You can, yeah.
So when he was trying to explain certain things to them, like understeering, or is the engine four-stroking at this stage, because he was trying to get feedback, and that they wouldn't know how to communicate it to him. So he's out there making all these noises, going, is it making this noise? Is the engine making that noise?
What noise is that?
Yeah.
Wait, what's the noise? What was the noise that he was using?
You make the noises.
You brought it up.
How's it go?
Lana, how's it full stroke? You show him.
Nope.
Ah.
Come on.
Anyway, so he would so he'd be making all these different engine noises, or is it cutting out and going silent, or is the bum end sliding out of the cart, and all these things. So he had to sort of make it understandable for the little girls. And now Lana's at the stage where she just come in and goes snap oversteer and this, that, and whatever. And I was trying to rate
my sisters. So it's actually cutting out, and they're going, it's four-stroking when it's cutting out. And I went in Chelsea's cart, and hers is really bad. Like, hers didn't even want to go. It was just cutting out the whole time and popping and four-stroking while it was cutting out. It was not a healthy engine.
Yeah,
it was the coil was wrecked in it. But
they couldn't communicate what it was.
Because Lana's got to the stage where she can give us really good feedback now, and the other little girls couldn't, and we couldn't hear from a distance.
There was one of the Cadet 12 kids that Ipswich Club Day. I won't say who it is, but Lana's in Chelsea's cart, so she's too big. She would have been 15 kilos overweight with a Cadet 9 restrictor in, and legs are like bent up around the steering wheel. And she's humming around in this thing, and he was still stuck behind her for over half a lap. Couldn't get past.
And then he passed her, and you could see the grin under his helmet. He thought he'd beat Lana. And I'm like, in a Cadet 9 cart, a cart that's not working, and we've shoved her in it so we could get feedback of the cart and what's actually happening.
That was funny.
Because, we'd been trying to work it out with Chelsea for ages. So Lana's now the test dummy that gives us all the feedback that we need, because she knows how to communicate.
Shove me in the cart, send me out, I come in, it's doing this.
And it did help over the weekend, because Adrian was racing when we had the shakedown, the Ipswich shakedown the other day. Yeah. So I only ran 2 girls, Paige and Lana, just so they could do the shakedown. And Lana would come in, and she'd even watch Paige's race and go, Paige is doing this driver-wise, her cart's doing this, and she'd give me the feedback, she'd give Adrian the feedback, and then she'd come in and tell me what her cart's doing and what needed to be done about it, and talk to Dad and things like that. So it makes it a lot easier to have a kid know what they want changed, and, how the cart's performing and how they want it to perform. So I think that training's been really good. Thanks, Ed.
More to come.
Saves my on the weekend, put it that way. But she's getting really good at feedback.
Yeah, that's good. That's awesome. Hey, Adrian, out of curiosity, what got you into Porsches? Do you have was it opportunity, or you love the brand, or a bit of both?
When we were in karting, my older brother Damien went on to sort of race Formula Ford, and he actually got a Porsche 997, and he raced in Australian GT. So he did that for a number of years, and obviously I was, just working at Coles at that stage and whatnot. And he said, well, why don't you come along and jump in the car with me? We'll do a GTs, some of the races, because they do like a 2-driver where you do driver change.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right. So sort of got my license and progressed into that. And just did a couple of races here and there. And then he eventually went on to race the Carrera Cup as well, for a number of years and whatnot. And then, like every boy, you love Porsches from when you're little. And it's just like a dream to be able to, even sit in one, let alone race one. So as I sort of got on, a little bit later in life, I decided I'm going to get one and go and race in Carrera Cup. So that was pretty much it. So, they're just an amazing car. They're just so fast. They're so robust. And every single generation has just become more of a race car rather than a road car. To the point now, it's so far from a road car, it's not funny. We're quicker than the supercars at most of the tracks, and that's as a Pro-Am driver. So, it's incredible how fast these things are and just how difficult they actually are to drive as well, which is, it's a good challenge, and there's always something to learn, like everything, you can always do better, but, it's just been interesting for me. And then even though last year I joined Earl Bamber Motorsport, they sort of started running my car, and that way they sort of look after the car setup and the maintenance side of it. And then I've actually been able to focus mainly on driving, and just basically what they've taught me from driving techniques and different things has been amazing for myself to see. I thought I knew most of what there was to know about a driver, but now I've improved a lot again just based on what they've been able to teach me as well. And they had a driver, Larry Ten Bork from Super Cup, came over at the start of the year. We actually went to Talon Bend for 2 days. And the value from those couple of days, for myself and the team, what we learnt was just, incredible. And the team's going so well this year, based a little bit on that and all the other hard work they put in. But, it's just been a really good adventure, and hopefully I can keep doing it as long as I can.
Yeah. Have you raced the 12-hour or got plans to do it one day?
I've actually done a couple of 24 hours over the years. So I did the Dubai 24-hour with Damien, and that was back in 2013, I think it was. And we also raced at Catalunya, which is Barcelona. I think it was the previous year or somewhere around that. And that was a 24-hour race. That was really cool. Yeah, the Lemons race.
2011.
Yeah. Tasha even raced. So there was a series a couple of years ago. It was awesome. It was called the 24-hour Lemons.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
The Lemons race.
Yep.
Yeah, so Tasha raced that one year with us. So we had a Hyundai Getz at work as one of the reps cars, and it got hail damaged, and it was just literally just dented and destroyed. So it would have been thrown in the bin. So I said, hey, why don't we race that in that Lemons race? Because it can't be worth more than $1,000. So we, gutted it, and it was like a project, and got a proper roll cage built into it, and we went and raced the 24-hour Lemons race, which is really cool. Tash had a go in that as well. That was cool. So it's literally the same as racing any 24-hour race, because you've got to be around through the night and through the morning and sort of stuff. But we had no horsepower because it was just a little buzzy car. It had done 280,000 Ks or something, so we ran it with a standard engine. But we could go literally for 4.5 hours on a fuel tank, whereas everyone else was fueling up between 40 and 60 minutes sort of thing. So where we wouldn't keep up with speed, when they're all doing these pit stops, we're banking back laps throughout the night. So we sort of got back up to like 6th position at about 3 a.m. in the morning. So that was pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, sorry.
So that's cool.
Yeah, to answer your question, I've done the Bathurst 12-hour, I think it was about 2018, thereabouts, with Dave Wall and the Nissan Nismo or whatever they call it, that GT thing.
Yep.
That was a mega fast car. That was actually really, really cool. So, we did that year, and that was quite enjoyable.
Yep.
Don't have any plans this year for any though, do you?
No, I've been asked a few times, but I know not many people agree with me, but Bathurst is not my favourite track. I find that it's a good track to do a lap around, but just from a racing point of view, it's very hard to pass people, and there just generally seems to be a lot of safety cars and that sort of thing. So it sort of takes the shine off it for me. It's a huge effort to get there, and then you continue to have that. So it's probably not my favourite race that we do, but it is cool to be involved with it when it is on, I guess.
Yeah. Hey, before we wrap up, there's a trophy in the back that I can see. Can you bring it out and plonk it on the table and have a look at it in all of its glory?
Yeah, that one, Lana.
It looks amazing.
Are your arms getting too tired from holding it, Lana?
Yeah, Lana.
I should bring it downstairs because she sleeps with it every night.
Oh, look at that.
Have a look at how big that is.
That is cool.
And it's got a tooth attached to it.
There's a story behind that.
What's the story behind the tooth, Lana? Did you lose that on the race weekend?
No, that's
No,
not.
that's the story.
Okay. So it was really wobbly, and I told Dad, and Dad's like, all right, I'll pull it out. And like, no, that's my fast tooth. That's why I'm doing so well. And I would refuse the whole time, and then it started like getting stuck out. I'm like, oh no, like it's gonna come out. And then at the end of the weekend it was still in, and we did podium with it, and then we were on the way to the airport, and I was just looking at my trophy, and then suddenly I felt something in my mouth, and it was the tooth.
So it helped her win the race. It helped her win the race, and then it decided its job is done and it can fall out now.
Came out. There you go.
So we did a deal with the Tooth Fairy that we get to keep the tooth and get $5.
Nice.
No, I didn't actually get any money from the Tooth Fairy. I just wanted to keep the tooth, and the Tooth Fairy. So we have like this big trophy cabinet, and on my row, they had my tooth and the $5 notes stuck on the wall, but I couldn't find my tooth.
We should call, I reckon that's the title of the episode, The Lucky Tooth.
Yep.
That's it. I'm done. That's
The
perfect.
fast tooth.
The fast tooth or the lucky tooth.
That's a good password.
And you know how you said like the Flack's racing thing? We actually, I was talking to Dad, and we were thinking of like a race name, and we came out with Flack Out Racing.
That's a very good play on words.
I like it. I like it.
And we have race names, and I'm Lana Lightning. What's yours?
I'm not sure.
Dad.
Keep up, Dad. We're doing a bit of work in the background as well. So we've also just basically had Lana's website's been launched as well. So lanaflack.com.au. So which once we get into it a little bit more, have a lot more links to Facebook, some YouTube videos, and links to different rounds and different things, and social media and that sort of stuff. So we're open to try and put the pegs in place to be able to grow her following and everything that goes with that as she goes. So.
And is there like a contact button on there, like an email address or something, in case any potential sponsors are listening, so that they can jump on board?
Yep. So just down the bottom sort of section of the website, all the contacts there. So be more than happy to have a few of those emails come through. But we'll keep everyone in touch with the journey, and hopefully, she has a lot more success, and we'll continue to grow it and see where we end up with it.
Yeah. Hey, while we're at it, do you want to give some sponsors or any supporters a plug or a mention just while we've got the forum?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Revolution Race Gear, Bell, MG Engines, Custom Corner, AGAS, Mum and Dad, Energy, and all the opponents racing. I said MG Engines. Mick, he puts a lot of effort in, and I send him like notes and
make it go faster.
Communicate. I talk to him on the phone, and he gives me like a topic, and I write a letter about it. And
she's writing letters to her engine builder.
Whatever you've got to do to get the job done.
We even had to go out and buy letterhead, special letterhead for the letters that she writes to him. And then they negotiate. If she gets an engine or something like that, they negotiate on names and they work out between them what they think that would be a good name for an engine. So, yeah.
Nick surprised me with one because in one of my notes I said, you name my engines. And my dad randomly is like, when I got my first engine, he's like, what are you going to name it? I'm like, since when do you name an engine? And he's like, with the power and all that. And I named most of my engines after Mick. Like, I've got a little Mick, a big Mick, MG Magic, because his thing's MG Engine, so MG Magic. Yes, I've got a lot of MGs and Micks all through it. But he surprised me.
And then he started
with one.
changing it, didn't he? Because I think he felt stalked.
Yeah.
So maybe it can't be another mix theme. So he decided to go to a totally different engine name.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, and Dad got me a different engine, and Dad told me, like, was it 2 days ago? 3 days ago? Yeah, about 2 to 3 days ago, and he's gone, Destroyer. I'm gone, what's Destroyer? And he's gone, oh, the new engine, because he likes trying different things, because each different engines are, like, different to each other. But called Destroyer, and I was like, that's a pretty good name.
I reckon your dad's secretly a Kiss fan. That's what the sound tells me. They named an album Destroyer a long time ago. That's probably showing my age now.
That's a bit beyond her.
Yeah. See, I told you, watch out. I'll tend to just go out there. But guys, it's been, and Lana in particular, it's been wonderful to have you on the show. Thank you so much for coming on and opening up a little bit to your world. And on my side of it, I don't know how you do it. And, managing that, the whole setup, 4 carts, 5 carts, Porsche racing, it's an amazing achievement. But we're riding you on the way, all the way. I want to see you hopefully succeed and get into Formula One, but also win that green plate. Come on, I've got a pass waiting to give you. All right.
That would be awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us, guys. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for the opportunity as well.
You're very welcome, and we'll see you at a racetrack somewhere soon.
Come say hi.
We will for sure. Todd Road. I'll be there at Todd Road, so I'll come and say hello.
Definitely. We'll see you then.
It's a big, colourful energy truck.
I won't miss it.
Miss it.
It's the one with the pink plates on at the moment, unless we have any success this weekend. So
I still may carry the pink plates because they're pretty cool.
They're pretty cool. Yeah.
I might give Lee a Ferrari flag, so then that way you can spot his marquee somewhere in the flock of all marquees. It'll be the only one there. You can't miss it. So, yeah.
She likes red, so she'll gravitate towards that. It'll be fine.
Cool.
He
All
looks
right.
good as well.
We'll make it happen. Actually, you know what? A red racing helmet. That'll be cool.
Then we've got to change the whole sticker kit on the go-kart
To go
too.
with it.
All right. Okay. Maybe that's probably too much to ask. So, all right. We'll leave you all to it.
More the bluey, like turquoise and those type colours. So I got that, and it was one of these guys who told me pink.
Looks good.
Yeah,
Matches your pink plates. Yep.
It matched the pink plates. We wanted it to not clash with your pink plates, so we had to come up with a colour
With
scheme.
my new helmet, I sort of want a purple one.
You know how many people have said to me how much they like your colour scheme? Like, it just looks so good.
Cool
And
on track, it does.
Yeah, it just
Yeah.
stands out big time.
Yeah.
That's
So,
cool.
yeah.
Very good.
What's winning, I say.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's the best. Yeah.
First over the finish line always looks best, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Exactly. All right. Thank you, guys. We'll see you soon. All right. We'll hopefully see you at a racetrack shortly.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
sounds
Everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a great day / night.
You too.
You too.
Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to AuscastNetwork.com for details.